course, brilliant Nidalee player. Zillion taken away over the other side, and Zillion being a very strong pick so far.
Well, very much sitting on exactly what TSM did yesterday. Nidalee and Aatrox focused heavily on Freddy, pulled him off his game. He is the shot caller. You know, he pulled out Mundo yesterday, not to great success. Another top lane ban. Maokai finally coming out. Alistar was also taken away, so really the top lane is pretty sparse right now.
Top lane is definitely loaded up with bans here. We'll have to see, because SK, they do like to have Freddy on something that can split push. Still are options open for them, and Ryze has gone through. That's been the next tier in top lane picks here, after all of these have been banned out.
So we see Kha'Zix, the first pick for the Taipei Assassins, will of course land in the hands of Wins, probably the man to look at in this Taipei Assassins lineup. He's played Kha'Zix 3 times so far this season, has a 100% record as well with that Kha'Zix. We'll see now what SK Gaming decide to go for in their first picks. And well, top lane of course is an interesting point for us at this stage because of the fact that there are so many bans. Will that mean that SK Gaming try at least to get something early on the board?
They very well could, or they could try and leave it for later, because they do have last pick here and try and counter. But really, I do want to go back to that first pick you're talking about with Wins, because Kha'Zix is such a strong early jungler here. He's really risen to prominence with all of the nerfs to the other strong dueling junglers, and this is really going to be one of Wins' most recent favorite champions that he's on, so he's very comfortable here. Once again, the Sona, though, very surprising. I saw your face, D-Man.
Yeah, this is something, you know, we were discussing after the TSM game, of course, you know, how it really didn't work out for them in that bottom lane. You know, the Sona pick Wild Turtle, he was dominated against the Starholm Royal Club, but against SK Gaming, they put the moves on that bottom lane pairing of Candy Panda and nRated with Sona.
Yeah, a lot of the support mains are sort of calling Sona like Nami Light here. It's a little bit sort of a weaker version of Nami. And Nami is currently up right now, so he's opted for this. This is definitely a nRated special. He's put a lot of time in on this champion. This is for SK's team fighting. They want to make use of the crescendo. They just feel like the tidal wave is too slow.
Got to be a big one for them here. If we look over to TPA, it looks like they'll be picking a mid laner here for Morning. Syndra once again for him, which kind of falls a little bit outside of his normal pool. You mentioned that earlier, that him and Jesiz have a very much overlapping champion pool. They also took Lucian here for bebe.
Yeah, and there was also, we saw Ahri finally locked in for Jesiz. This is the champion I feel he should have been playing yesterday. It is probably arguably his best champion, honestly. 6-1 on it throughout the summer split. Fantastic champion, but back to Morning, obviously playing Syndra yesterday. It was the first time we've seen him play it, because Chowie, of course, is the substitute for TPA. He can play at this World Championships if they require him.
Exactly, and something that TPA were really big on in their interviews is that they've changed up a lot of strategies, and they've brought multiple strategies for the different teams that they've been researching here. So Syndra, a big part of that. However, we did see he's a little uncomfortable on the champion. It takes a bit of practice to start aiming those stuns, because those are 2 key clicks rather than just a single key click for your stun this time, and the accuracy was a little bit off. That could open up windows for Jesiz to go for those kills, because Ahri can dance circles around you. If you miss your stun on Syndra, then you will be a sitting duck.
And it shows the faith that TPA, I think, have in Morning, in the fact that he's not played it. Chowie is the Syndra player. If the plan is to play Syndra, you'd expect maybe that Chowie would be the one to lead the way, but they played brilliantly yesterday. Unfortunately lost out in that game, but showed some real good signs. We did see Jarvan picked in here for Gilius, a champion that he's played multiple times in the Challenger Series. Of course, he's now officially an LCS player with Unicorns of Love, having qualified from the promotion tournament. On the other side, Ryze and Janna were the 2 final picks for TPA.
So they have the double AP comp, but it's not like they're lacking attack damage threats here, because Wins especially has been very, very dangerous on Kha'Zix, and bebe once again on the Lucian. Very comfortable with this champion, played it yesterday. They're also bringing the Janna, so we'll have to see if they listen to any sort of the analysis yesterday, and he goes for Mikhail's earlier rather than going with the Medjai's. But really, the Mikhails would have to be used to get somebody who gets caught by Ahri to safety.
Interesting team comps from both of these teams, honestly, because you've got a mix between a mid and a late game on both sides, honestly. I mean, obviously, clearly, BBJ down the bottom lane, they're going to be pushing the towers, but Candy Panda, when he gets going later on with the Tristana, will be strong towards him. Of course, then you've also got the Ryze in there. He's going to be massive against the Mundo. Mundo's going to be massive towards his lane. It's a definite mix between this one. I think we're looking towards a longer game than we're expecting.
Yeah, they are fairly balanced here. We've heard so much about the Mundo and Tristana combos. When teams pick both of these up, they just have ridiculous scaling on the front line and in the back line for their team. But you can never count out Ryze. We've seen how ridiculous he does get later.
And let's be honest here, I mean, we're talking about two teams who have traditionally gone very, very long in terms of their game, so can't count that one out. But now that the players have decided on their champions, who do you guys think is going to win? Let us know by tweeting hashtag TPA win or SK win to @LOL Esports. We'll find that one out as we get in game. Of course, it was a 77% vote for TPA. Obviously, massive favourites here in the stadium. They're on home soil, and we'll see if that advantage plays into their game.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, SK are using a substitute. Whether they're going to continue throughout the groups, of course, Svenska will be able to play after today. This is the last 2 games. He's had a 3-game ban, so we'll see whether he comes in, whether they stick with Gilius. You know, I said to Freddie, I saw him just before this match, and he was like, wishing him good luck, and he said, we're sure as hell going to need it. We'll see how it works out for them.
Yeah, and I do like Kha'Zix in this matchup just because it's a bit easier for Wins to outplay Gilius. If he is able to juke the knockup from Jarvan, then it's 100% going to be 1 skirmish for Wins. And that early game, if it does go again in favor of TPA, then really the things that we do have to worry about is looking at how they finish out the game. Because yesterday, they had such a great lead, but they kind of made that classic James Bond villain mistake where they've got him tied up. They've won pretty much. They've got him tied up on the floor. They've got a gun to his head, but they don't finish him off. Instead, they stand walking around and they tell him just how good their planning was to get to this point. By that point, it's too late, though. James escapes and everything goes down the drain.
Don't get
Look at this, though. Face check.
Face check going in there. nRated's going down here. The exhaust used on him. The ignite's going. bebe, surely one more shot will do it. It's Jay that picks up first. The Candy Panda walks away to the tower, but that is a straight up face check.
And that is another early lead here for TPA. The money, though, it went to Jay, so it's not as bad for SK as it could have been. A first blood over to bebe would be a horrendous start. Let's see what Jay goes for this time. That may just fuel his Medjai's counter this time.
And disastrous start for SK Gaming, and this is where they, in theory, should still be at their strongest teamwork-wise. Is this bottom lane, Candy Panda and nRated, been impressive together throughout the last couple of splits, and just not what they would have wanted, and certainly won't help their confidence out. Also, I feel showed their hand in terms of level 1 very early on, with Jesiz skilling up his orb rather than, you know, just waiting for a little while in case anything happened and maybe taking a charm. Spotted by Morning. We thought that was it for level 1, but the face check giving first blood over to the Taipei Assassins. As Jesiz going very aggressive there onto Morning. You can see both of them starting with that door and ring, so we'll see how this mid lane does develop in the end. But it's standard lanes, Kobe, here with the 2v2 down bottom and the Ryze versus Mundo up top.
Look at this trading right here. As soon as bebe jumps in, Jay puts on the shield. Great harass, gets the double shot with the extra AD there, chases them off of the minion line. This is how the Lucian Tristana match is really supposed to go. He gets that bullying down. The first blood actually translated into boots, so not that big of a deal for the combat effectiveness of the early trades in the bottom lane.
Interested to see how this one works out. It's interesting, more importantly for me, to see Sona coming back here, because there was a reason he fell away in the 2014 season, was because the changes in the bottom lane made those supports a little bit squishy, because everything got a little bit more aggressive down there, and we're already seeing nRated taking a lot of harassment from bebe and Jay.
Well, I expect to see much more aggression from bebe and Jay because of the assist money that bebe got. He got 3 potions now, so he can continue to trade over and over again and sustain up, using that extra attack damage from the Janna shield, as well as the shield to soak up damage itself. He can sit there and sustain right along with Sona.
Telegraph gank in the top lane. Gilius gets spotted. bebe once again is going in. Candy Panda trading back with this one. The Howling Gale preventing any more damage done. SK are not backing down too heavily on this one. They want to trade.
And I'm not sure that it's a bad decision for them as well, with that Sona in there to keep the heals coming in for them. Obviously, bebe, as you mentioned, got himself a few more pots, but has since worked through those. So We'll see how that one all develops for him. Currently, CS pretty level as bebe is once again going to go in. Howling Gale will come through, but not connecting onto Candy Panda, and a very aggressive bottom lane so far.
Yeah, and these Howling Gales, like you kind of want the Howling Gale to time when you're going in with your AD carry rather than right after the trade is over. It seems to be continually bebe starting the exchange and then the Howling Gale sort of ending it there. Not quite perfectly on point. But really, again, let's take another look at the junglers, because once again, Gilius trying to make something happen earlier. Got a lot of criticism for not making enough action early, whereas Wins, he's been hard farming the jungle there with Kha'Zix. He's very calm, he's not trying to rush into anything, and he's a little bit ahead of Gilius now, just because Gilius has been trying more things and sitting in the bushes.
And Jesiz has been unable to really get in there so far and do much to Morning. He's sat all the way back there behind that midway point of the map, making sure that he doesn't get in trouble. Meanwhile, Freddy taking a bit of a beating in this top lane, but he is ahead by a good chunk of CS.
Gilius, just looking at him, trying to take a look around. He's desperate to try and create a gank. He's been running around the top, the bottom, the mid, looking for anywhere to create an opportunity. And as he said, Wins is just happy farming right now.
Yeah, so this is one of the dangers when even if you get some criticism for a slow performance last game, it's hard for a jungler to instantly change their style. If you instantly try and turn into an early attacking, early ganking jungler, then a lot of the times you're going to have to work on the timing for those ganks, because you can see there he wasted a lot of time sort of sitting in the bushes just because he felt like he had to get something happening. And now Wins, he's already been back to purchase. He's got wards already on the map down right now, and the sustain of his Sightstone completed.
Yeah, it's not like these junglers have some magic switch that they can just flip and, reverse their entire year's style. Wins is down on this bottom side of the map. nRated actually moving in there with the ward. He's going to take a big amount of damage. Will, in fact, flash away there back towards his turret. So Wins coming down. Okay, no kill, but he's forced the support's flash.
Managing to pull that one out. It does mean Wins is going to back away. So first aggression we see from Wins already causes one summoner spell to go down. In that mid lane, there is a rather large gap starting to appear in terms of CS. 52 to 37 already. Both have just been back to buy. So Morning building a big advantage over Jesiz early on.
And that is very worrisome, because look at the wards that Wins decided to place. He placed them over by this blue buff for the second blue buff spawn. If your mid laner is already ahead, this opens up the opportunity for assassinating Jesiz when he goes to pick up that second blue buff handoff. This could be the makings of a well-laid trap here from TPA if Wins heads over there and tries to get in position. You can see Jesiz sort of had the same thought, though. He just places a defensive ward over that wall into the river to sort of watch that avenue. And as you can see, it's just a defensive handoff of their own blue buff.
Well, it's a matter of time. We'll see whether TPA decide to swing straight down there. They did start, obviously, their own blue early on, which means the red will be spawning, which is, it seems to be where Wins is going at the moment, so they're not going for it just yet. A little bit of a roam from Jesiz, looking to go further down, getting a vision, taking a peek towards the Wraiths. He hasn't spotted anything yet. Meanwhile, down this bottom, despite all the heavy trading back and forth, the actual CS between the two, bebe and Candy Panda, is pretty even.
Oh, Freddy here, gonna do some decent damage. Can he finish off a kill, though? See, Achie got himself that tier stacking up. Wins is now moving in, so those wards earlier on is Gilius coming down into the middle. Ultimate from Jesiz as well. Can't quite get over. Gilius is going to go down. Morning does fall, and that gives the double buff over. Wins going to dive onto the top of Jesiz. Has he got the damage to finish him off? Flash actually onto the other side. He needs one more Q, surely. Good job from Jesiz. I think that's going to be it. Avoid spikes do land, but not quite enough damage from Wins.
Yeah, they were going for setting up that attack sort of in the blue buff corridor handoff, but Gilius had different plans. He was just going straight for the gank. They weren't trying to hand it off. As soon as Ahri hit level 6, they wanted to get that kill. Morning did a great job of getting the first blood before he went down, though. Does result in the blue buff steal here, because Wins the last jungler left standing.
Mundo goes down. Candy Panda jumps in, but a quick ultimate from Jay blows them all away. And while all that play was begun by SK, it's TPA that come out on top.
However, Winds took a lot of damage there. Their jungler extremely low. SK take the opportunity. They're going to push this dragon.
Oh, this is dangerous. Candy Panda down at half HP. nRated not exactly much healthier. Jesiz has come back in. Don't forget those double buffs there for him and available to do some damage. That's a 3-man stun coming up. SK do manage to get Dragon. Zephyr goes towards Candy Panda. They're trying to get away. Gilius is going to be flashed onto. Winds gets one. Exhaust onto Jesiz. That's 2 kills. Morning picks up the second.
Completely worth it for TPA there. Not only did they get the kills and the double buffs back, but they have complete control of mid so they can answer objectives as well.
Big pickup from TPA here. SK trying to force a play. They're trying to create something, and TPA just have answers for them every step of the way. The entire play was begun by Gilius and Jesiz in that mid lane. Everything has just ricocheted out of their way, out of their control. Candy Panda down the bottom. He's going to back off, but TPA just gained a whole chunk of gold and all of the assists across the board. Everybody benefited from everything there.
All right, so we'll take another look. Make sure here there is no smite for Wind, so this is not a smite fight. This is 100% for Gilius. However, he uses his flag and drag on the dragon, so he has no escape after this. Cooldown's not going to be there. He's a sitting duck. Yes, they secured the dragon, but that's going to be 2 kills and the double buffs going back over to Morning.
Yeah, and he's now going to become even more of a problem. He's 20 CS ahead as a start, got those 2 kills. Athenes is done for him, something that Jesiz has not been able to achieve as of yet. Cheese also possible.
Feeling hungry, mate?
Yeah. Big bone and all that.
We just started today, guys.
If you look at the AD carries and their items, Ahri's played BF Sword was a start for Candy Panda, so mixing it up a little bit on that front. Other side, BB not messing around here. He's got pickaxe as well as the BF Sword.
Jesiz has fell quite far behind Morning as well. Double buff was picked up during that. That's going to be clear out in a moment. Gilius did just have a peek and wonder whether he could get near them, but 90 CS to 66, 2 kills to the 1. It is all going in Morning's favor. And, you know, we were questioning before this tournament began whether he could do it, whether he could turn this around, because when we saw him at Katowice, he had that one big showing on Ziggs, but outside of that, he was not that impressive. It seems, though, Chowie has been taking him through some training school for Syndra.
And, you know, the game plan for the next 5 minutes here from TPA should be very, very clear. Well, yeah, we do have Gilius sitting in this bush right now, and Achie may be in a little bit more trouble than he thinks. Let's see how well Freddy can actually bait this. He doesn't want to give it away.
Oh, wow, what a flash, but there is a Cataclysm, leaves him trapped inside. He's turning the damage round on towards Gilius. He's just at less than half HP, but the damage is there. It's Freddy that picks up the kill on his Mundo.
Yeah, not much he could do there. I mean, he flashes the knockup only to get hit by the Cataclysm, and that means you're going to be stuck in there forever. Let's see how well this dive works out, though. They're sitting on a ward, and because top 1 teleports in.
Wow, that crescendo was way too early from nRated. The rest of the team reacted. Jesiz goes in, he gets on towards Winds. We can see Morning flash away. They will only get that 1 kill. Again, if that crescendo would have delayed a little bit longer, I think they may have got more from that one.
It wasn't a bad reaction from SK Gaming, though. They saw them coming in, instant TP from Freddy to get down there. Ended up getting themselves a kill. Yes, they burnt a decent amount to actually make that happen, as BB going aggressive again in bottom lane. Candy Panda has to be careful here. They get rid of the minions. That'll keep them safe for now.
Yeah, really, it was the 100% perfect reaction for them because they had 2 members up top, so they didn't need both of them to shove it into the turret. They left the jungler up there, and they instead teleport down with Freddy. They got the advantage because no way Achie can teleport to answer. He's dead.
And they did the turret teleport as well. Oh, double stun comes in. Candy Panda in trouble. Ultimate used by Morning. It's not quite enough to take him down. And SK do manage to get away. They will lose a turret, but their lives are safe for now.
Double flash used there by the SK bottom lane, and it means that the tower is going to be falling here. TPA picked that one up, and a 1,500 gold lead is now settled for them. Jesiz not able to come around for this time, and again, Morning just moving around the map nicely to start off those plays on the tower.
All right, so let's get back to that clear game plan for TPA. Because they have this early lead, their mid lane is much stronger, their bottom lane is much stronger. Winds himself is much stronger. So this jungle, he should completely take over the blue side jungle of SK. That should be TPA territory right now. They set up an outpost there. litter it with wards, and they could continue to control all the consecutive dragons that are about to come up. 1 minute on the next one. They hand off this blue, then head over down to bottom side. Could be a very easy pickup.
This is a tricky situation for Gilius. I don't think he realizes just how many members of TPA are nearby if he were to try go for something. Freddy instead wisely tells him to back away, and there's no gank opportunities. SK gathering a little around the mid lane here. Dragon is up in 50 seconds, and they want to start trying to gain control of the Serpentine River.
Let's see here, because Achie still has his teleport as well. If they send Achie back up to deal with Freddy and sort of shove this top lane wave as hard as he can, then yeah, this dragon should be TPA's for the taking. Freddy's not going back right now, so pretty much no way he could join that fight.
If you look at some CS numbers here, though, it's TPA that are definitely...
Oh, they're going Howling Gale.
Oh, a little bit off there. Slightly off, the ward was down, so he had vision and expecting, I think, SK to move a little further out. But if you look at TPA, just as you said earlier, Kobe, get that vision down in the blue side of SK's jungle and really start to dominate that side of the map. They've got the vision, but they're now backing away to leave it again.
Yeah, that being said, Freddy did take that time to back. So he backed just in time here. Dragon is available, but he's heading towards the area. And Ryze does take towers very slowly because he's pretty much all mana at this point in the game. He's just got his rod completed. So if he stays up in that top lane, it will take him a while to earn the objective for TPA. However, free minions for Ryze in itself is a pretty big win for them. If TPA can sort of delay SK around this dragon, then that will slowly gain them advantage. Let's see how decisive SK are around this dragon, though. They decide to force something. Because slowly but surely, Achie up top, gaining little leads.
They may just choose the opportunity to swing around. They can see there's 3 members pinned across in the jungle. nRated with the ward down does keep them separated. They're miles away from this one. They're going to start it off, and there's a lot of damage done on that dragon already. TPA, too late to the party. Wins is going to have to jump in. No, it's SK's taking it, and that equals up the goal.
Okay, so they just decided to play it safe and keep Ryze up top. He will get this turret eventually. Extremely low, probably going to need 1 more minion wave up there, and he should be able to get it before Freddy is actually able to defend.
Let's see if Freddy chooses to TP. I don't think he will with that minion wave, is what they call coming in. Winion wave also. And they are going to take that tower, and there's the vote. 1% of you extra in that swing, 78 to 22%. Oh. All right, forget that, 82% then. So big swing here for the Taipei Assassins. And honestly, SK, yes, they're a little bit behind in this game, but they've done well to control the dragon so far. If they can keep doing that, and obviously start to scale things up with that Mundo and the Tristana, this is by no means a done deal. As SK here pushing that middle lane.
Yeah.
Morning and Achie are going to come in, but they might just be too late. The tower's going down.
Yeah, just the 1 more little hit. It's all they required. Wins goes aggressive on this one. I think they should be safe. There is no tower, remember. And the charm being flung out by Jesiz just as a warning shot. It does give them a little breather, though. TPA, this is the question, though. They were a little indecisive yesterday when they had that lead over Star on Royal Club. They have no lead right now. It is equal. Now blue buff just gets dragged across by Morning. That's going to get taken away. Another one stolen away from Jesiz, but it hasn't hampered him too much just yet.
There is just now the completed static Shiv as well for Candy and Panda. So that's more good news for SK. They've got extra wave clear right now, much needed. It will supplement Ahri's wave clear, and they can hold out. They can try and wait until Candy Panda actually completes his Infinity Edge. Right now, he's got the biggest pieces of it.
TPA, though, looking like they may try to get vision control over the top side of the map. Let's not forget that epic game against Royal Club where they did get great control over the map, but were unable to finish off that game. We'll see what they actually do here. I said vision control, not really much of it did end up going down. 1 inside the Baron pit, 1 by the Wraith camp that's since been cleared actually by Gilius. So that means not too much gain from that little push onto that side of things. BB actually going to go down bottom. Candy Panda has no turret behind him, but not sure they want to fight at this point.
So something we've talked about, obviously we've covered SK for the entire season. They've always been very slow in the lane phase. They're coming out on the lane phase, equal on gold. Jesus, that's a deep dive. Morning gonna get caught out crescendo in there. They only need to hit the tower once, but it doesn't matter. They take down the mid laner. And what I was
Here comes Freddy.
about to say, that's the tower gone down. They're going to back away from this one. Freddy's coming around the side. They may still keep pushing this mid lane.
Yeah, this is dangerous for TPA. We see here that bebe being forced away by Candy Panda. Minions been taken down slowly but surely there, which means that TPA will hold on this turret for now. Morning going to be respawning back in, but that leaves Jesiz now at 3-1-0, and we saw the CC train there really coming in. Jarvan diving on top into the crescendo, into an easy charm. You just don't escape from that. There's Jay actually going very aggressive. TP from Achie as well.
nRated's not getting out of that one. It gives his life up there. The question is, will TPA turn this and run down the mid?
Exactly. They've got 1 kill, but it was just on the support. How much can they really gain mid? There's Static Shiv, Tristana, plus Ahri wave clearing. SK have a pretty decent chance of defending here. Okay, it's just a straight charm on the support. Not explosive because he's gone with the Athene's route, not rushing for the Deathfire.
Well, just a couple of minions there, but they are being kept at bay. There's a good chunk of damage. Gilius going very defensive and just gets destroyed where he stands. Don't think he was on the same page as the rest of his team there. SK happy to just hold off the tower. Freddy having to use his ultimate to keep himself alive. Morning continuing to put pressure on them. Now they're going to keep pursuing here. Crescendo is still not up, and SK, they are just simply trying to clear some vision here. They're trying to clear the waves, but TPA, they're not giving up.
Pushing straight through onto this one. A big stunt could be all it takes. The money there. He gets 3 men. They blow up the AD carry. No, not the AD carry. The mid lane. It was Jesiz that went down. Candy Panda's at half HP. There is Monsoon used just to top TPA back up. Don't think they want to tank the turret right now.
They will.
I'll be proven wrong on that one. They go straight in onto it with wins, and that will be the inner turret going to TPA along with the kill.
Morning with a couple of good kills, and it does earn them the secondary turret here. SK with a couple of little slip-ups there. Gilius going a little aggressive. I do have to commend him, though. He's going for combat effectiveness with his build. He's got the extra giant spell there, and he's got the Hex Drinker to try and protect him from the same thing happening again. The full burst there from Morning. Next time around, he'll have that shield. I don't think he had that completed when he got hit the first time.
So, barring the crazy jump in from Gilius, back to my point, my trail of thought was, when SK come out of lane, generally even, their late game is that's their area of expertise. That is where they tend to shine, but Gilius jumping in like that, not quite on the same page, and that is the differential of having a substitute on your team. But do not write SK off. It's only a 3,000 gold difference. I think they were a little caught off by the pure aggression that TPA showed in that mid lane push. Of course, Jesiz completely caught out. Them big stuns from Morning are really on point this game.
And it's going to have to be, you know, nRated and these crescendos answering. 12 seconds here left for Dragon. Freddy does have his teleport ready for this if SK want to try and rush in there, but TPA have cleaned out the entire river for vision, and rushing into Fog of War against Syndra is very dangerous. They're going to do it though. Gilius runs right up.
This is a very brave move from SK Gaming. Dragon's going to go down. Are they going to try and close in? TPA are inside of the Dragon Pit. It's Freddy that goes in. Wins is actually going low and will fall down. It's nRated that picks up that kill. And TPA, they're stuck in the back. There's a Cataclysm. Jesiz has caught bebe around the backside. Is he going to get the kill? Almost goes down. Meanwhile, in the pit, Gilius, nRated, Candy Panda all low. But they get 3 kills. Make that 4. And now Achie's in trouble.
Tagged. It's going to be an ace.
Run in there. There's another one. He got slowed just as he flashed though.
The minions! Well, ignore it. They shouldn't chase. They should just go straight for mid. It looks like they want to go for Baron
looks like
instead.
they're binging on this Baron instead, and it is just a Ryze, so that should be Baron for SK. Now that fight, it looked like TPA just called every man for himself, and they tried to scramble out of the Dragon Pit. Wins just jumped headlong by himself to try and get out of there, and everybody's left scrambling inside the pit. This is definitely going to be the Baron here for SK. What a huge swing.
So the big thing I want to check, we're hopefully going to get the replay in a moment. I'm pretty sure the majority of the flashes were down for TPA, so they were stuck in that pit. And check Freddy. Freddy just dumped them out.
Yeah, they just kind of all panic inside. Wins he jumps headlong for nRated, and everybody else is still just scrambling inside the pit. Freddy's the gatekeeper here, the bouncer at the front of the Dragon Pit. He's not letting anybody in. Nobody's got IDs on them. They're all stuck inside. bebe almost gets a kill over the wall, but he doesn't get it, and it turns into the 4-kill plus Baron. What a huge, huge swing here for the Mundo Tristana team.
Worth noting there, though, was Jeziz's position. He went around the back of the Dragon Pit and said, okay, if you've got a flash, feel free to use it. Come in here and I'll kill you.
Arms open.
Almost went down to bebe, but it almost doesn't count. He got the kill. He's now got a DFG in there as well. So he's got a lot of potential to be singling out these targets. And TPA, we saw it yesterday that the later the game went on, the more decidedly dodgy some of their calls became, and that one was just not on point for them. They've fallen behind now in gold. They're up against an SK Gaming team who now have Baron on them. Some big items were completed in there, including the Warmogs for Freddy, that DFG they already mentioned, Infinity Head and Shiv now there for Candy Panda.
Yeah, and actually being behind this time as the game gets later for TPA is a really big problem, because with their team, it's very hard for anybody to get back to a late game Tristana. As the range scales up further and further, Candy Panda becomes extremely safe, and it really has to be a positional mistake from Candy Panda for him to get caught in this. SK though, nRated gonna have to blow his flash.
This is interesting play from TPA. They are being the aggressive one. SK have Baron, but TPA are the ones that are being aggressive. SK is silly realizing it, thinking, what are you doing, guys? We have the upper hand right now. We have the power. Now they've finally grouped up. TPA do back out in time, but he did force the flash from nRated. He had Crescendo available if they piled in, though.
Forced the flash and bought some extra time, taking very, very crucial seconds off of that Baron buff timer for them.
All morning. No. Not going to get chased down here. We do see Gilius coming across. Flag and drag was used. He gets the ward down. Spots Jay and Morning, though, quickly chooses to back away. But so, 5 members pushing down the bottom while bebe pushes mid.
And when you're facing a team like this that has the upper hand, you don't try and defend. You try and trade. Whenever your opponent is much stronger than you, you try and work around their power. TPA, they take this opportunity, try and shove up mid to try and answer back some advantage. They probably won't be able to get a lot of turret damage, but they did shove the wave all the way up and moved away from the dangerous zone of the map.
And if we look at the story of SK Gaming, specifically in the summer split, they never had a particularly impressive laning phase. It was all about building the strength, trying not to fall too far behind, and relying on the late game and the calls. And I almost feel that Gilius fits the late game SK style better than Svenskeren does.
Yeah, because Svenskeren was very much all about stealing the kills for himself sometimes, honestly. He was very much a selfish jungler. I think he is safe to call him that. We'll see how it works out, because now that they're out of the lane phase, that's the time when a sub is really the handicap for you. Now they're together as a 5, they're grouping as a 5. You can't really do too much wrong as a sub, other than maybe making a positional error. He's with the team. He is the big tank in the front. Well, obviously, Mundo will be the big tank, but for now, when he's split pushing, he will be the main man that blocks them out. So. Yeah. The handicap is gone from them right now. He's
going to be the big cataclysm to group people up. He's the one who's trying to get people in the cataclysm for nRated to ultimate. If they get that combo off, then it's very easy for Candy Panda to stay safe on the back line and just dish out damage the entire fight.
Freddy is become enormous. We just saw the culling going on him. The tower's hitting him. It didn't even take 1,000 hit points off him. That tower was taken down, full on tanked out. The Baron buff had worn off, but they just walked in and took it.
This is why, you know, a lot of people have been sort of getting tired of seeing Tristana over and over. The Tristana and Mundo, I always pointed out, the strongest scaling tank and AD carry. It's going to get very, very difficult for any answers. Freddy just stands on the front line, takes all of the hits. The only thing that can get back to Candy Panda is a morning stun. Syndra stun will go right through him. If they can get that and capitalize, then maybe they'll be able to swing this back in their favor.
But that's very tricky, because they're basically hoping that Morning can land the stun and bebe goes in. But with Candy Panda on Tristana, he can jump on his face. Jesiz can spirit rush on towards him, so it's going to be very hard for bebe to land the perfect position. And they're going to try it again here. This is going to be another stun try and start out by Morning.
Oh, gets the knock up onto Freddy. They're going to try and do some damage to him. Any bit of damage that they can really get onto that health bar is a bonus for them at this stage. But SK deciding to move towards the Dragon. TPA here have cleared out the wave, may decide to push up mid. Look at that. They see nothing on that bottom side of the river. SK had moved up to the brush. decide, though, that they do want that dragon. They will be able to take that down. Baron's coming up in 1.5 minutes time, which is pretty much the perfect amount of time here for SK to back-spend everything that they've just gained with those pushes and be back in time for Baron.
And relocate their own wards. TPA took that opportunity. They know they were going to give up this dragon, so they at least went to try and put down some vision by Baron, but it's very sparse vision that they have down there, and it will be very easy for SK to clear that out. That being said, they can, again, shove up the lanes and then just gain control of that entire side of the jungle.
Dragon was what turned things around last time. That led to a big massacre by SK of TPA and picks up that Baron afterwards. That will be up in just 40 seconds time. There is good vision in there for TPA, but I feel SK will no doubt come through and sweep out that. You can see a pink ward on nRated. Jesiz gets himself his blue buff. He's going to be happy. And the next fight may well be a bit of a dance around the Baron.
I feel that is most likely going to happen here. It's been somewhat of the European style. I think TPA, I mean, they showed it, yes, against Royal Club, that they're not scared of doing that Baron dance either. So seems like a likely option to actually happen in this one. For now, Freddy just pushing that top wave out to have it going in their favor. TPA have already got a good bit of coverage down on their side of that Baron pit. SK now finally starting to move in with a few pink walls. Once again, though, TPA is setting up the trap. Gilius, is he going to face check? Freddy came in and that scared TPA off.
That was nerves. That was nerves. They could have gone for that, and they were just like, is this the right play? I'm not sure. And they rightly backed away because Freddy came around that corner at just the right time. Tricky moments here for both teams.
Yeah, setting up traps with only 4 of your members.
Oh, Jay.
Oh, Cataclysm comes down soon.
One more shot.
Knocked
There it
it
is.
back. Candy Panda gets the kill. The culling wasn't enough to really return much there onto SK Gaming, and that gives them a big advantage. Yes, you can argue it's just the support down nRated here. Trying to play the bait. That's a good stun from Morning. Hits 3 of them. Gets nRated though. Jesiz going to go in towards Achie and actually using his ultimate there, so they may want to try and move forward from this one. Gilius trying to get in. Another good stun comes out from Morning, but SK have pushed them back and can just go back to Baron.
Yeah, perfectly played there by SK. They get the vision and then they go for the picks. Gilius especially, great job jumping on that Janna. They get the important cooldowns out and the extra kill. Then Jesiz goes for a pick. He doesn't.
Crescendo comes out, but maybe gets the smite out there. That's going to be Gilius that picks it up, but SK taken very low in the pin here. Candy Panda jumps back in, but it's TPA coming out on top. Have they got the damage? They damn well have. Jesiz gets picked up. BB goes huge. Freddy, the last man standing, and it's going to be an ace for TPA in the home ground. What a turnaround once again.
They quickly need to shove up mid and try and get that inhibitor down. The wave is halfway there, so they'll probably at least be able to get the turret. Let's see here, 20 seconds. They don't have BB. Crucial kill there at the very end for Freddy to be able to take down BB. Will make this push much slower.
And they've not got much health either from that one. You see Jay and Wins trying to dodge off there on the damage that they're going to take. Minion wave comes in to make it easier. They're going to take the turret, they're leaving. They don't want to stick around and risk that ace that they've just got being turned around onto them. TPA going to back away, and this game back and forth. Let's have a look at that Baron fight again.
All right, so the Crescendo and BB with the beautiful sidestep right there. A great stun. Let's see here. They corner them inside. Wins jumps right into. Jesiz on the outside can't lend enough help, and then the beautiful cleanup here from Wins. BB, this is the point. Freddy flashes in to finish him off. And that right there saved them the actual inhib kill.
Yeah, wow. So, we got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in it, and it is just a 2,000 gold differential. Baron completely wiped off the board. Nobody keeping that one for SK Gaming. And it is all square once again. 5 towers to 4. TPA taking that one inhibitor turret down. The question is, how will SK react? They had the upper hand. They still technically do in terms of gold, but that's definitely going to put a scare amongst them.
Yeah, I mean, basically they didn't get any use out of the Crescendo because everyone was on Baron, and BB in fact even dodged it. So next time they have a team fight, SK probably still have the upper hand here, as long as they are together and they're able to actually make use of all their crowd control. The fact that they were all focused on dealing damage to Baron was really the only reason that TPA were able to clean that one up. And they still have the gold lead here. So this is why they're continuing to pressure mid. If they just play it sort of solidly here, should be able to take down.
Well, they siege down this turret. We'll see whether they do manage to stick to it. Morning trying to follow through. I want you to get your stats head on you. Channel your inner freak right now, because I want to see, how does it compare? The fact that Candy Panda did have to go for that third defensive item. He's only got the IE and the static shiv, compared to bebe, of course, who went towards that last whisper.
So it is going to hurt them a bit because they've got the Mundo and Jarvan with, you know, Jarvan adds a little bit of damage, semi-damage, but really it's going to be about the solid plan from this team anyway. This team's not about having to rush things. So Candy Panda just playing defensively, not worrying about the actual long DPS over time in this team fight, because their composition is so safe. This is sort of like the Greek phalanx here for SK.
Candy Panda pushing out that bottom lane. There's a dragon that will be a freebie, but I say freebie, we look at TPA and they're actually pushing up the mid lane right now. They've got Freddy to try and hold them away. The inhibitor, of course, is open, and SK tried to move in from the side. Spotted by a good pink ward there by TPA, and TPA are going to keep pushing from this one. Freddy actually going to use his ultimate to get that region in. Cully comes out from the side. Are they going to go for this one? Morning isolated on the top side, and actually, yeah, Gilius went for him, but the rest of the team went down middle. Bit of coordination problems there, but they get the kill in the end. Candy Panda picks that one off. That's a lot of damage gone from TPA.
That's a big, big pickup by Gilius there. The sub coming out huge and singling out that mid laner. Very well worked for them. There was no flash available for nRated either, so he couldn't get that flash crescendo because 4 of them were stacked so tightly that it would have worked perfectly. Instead, though, SK taking advantage and pushing down that inner turret.
That's gone. There's no way that they can have that one. The question is whether they can actually defend here on the inhibitor turret. 20 seconds still until morning will come back up. Freddy was not pretty low in that last fight, if we can even really call it a fight. It was more of a positional face-off, which ended up in Gilius catching out morning on the top side. But SK recalling, and TPA are just going to push back up mid.
Yeah, the sort of safety-first mentality of SK kind of paying off here. The more I do look at it, though, I mean, Candy Panda has so many safety nets that he can fall back on. A third damage item would speed this game up for them a bit. But with that Banshee's Veil, it just means that even if Morning does land a Miracle Stun through Mundo, through the front line onto him, he's going to have that blocked. So it makes their composition just that much more safe.
That third damage item is now in, and Candy Panda is not going to have too many problems with Achie anymore either. He's got the damage. TPA are waiting off the side. They want to try and set up a gank push, but they're against SK Gaming. They've played Fnatic all season. They know what this is all about. Are they going to fall for it? Freddy's the man that gets singled out, but he's got 4,500 hit points and a whole stack of armor. He does not care too much what bebe does to him.
Yeah, last whisper, all well and good, but quite frankly, he's got enough to just say, I don't really care, even if you're hammering away on me. A minute until the Baron comes up. Freddy, of course, was, I mean, despite the fact that they got ace, you could probably argue the hero of that one flashing in to kill bebe and stop them from taking the inhibitor, which has given them the respite. We do see, though, that TPA sat in the death brush here trying to bait SK in.
Yeah,
on a ward, though.
They really need to get some sort of surprise, because if your enemy is stronger than you in the straight-up 5-on-5, you don't fight a fair fight. You try and get the element of surprise on your side to pick somebody off, because if they stack up 5v5, look at this. Who is Wins ever going to get a reset off? Talked about the safe sort of style from this team. Everybody here is hard for them to take down. Even nRated there. He's got the extra shield for everybody, and he's working on extra health items for himself. Very hard for TPA to actually ever get resets for wins.
I gotta give it to TPA. They're persistent. They were staying in that bush for a long time, and SK were just like, we know you're there. We're not falling for it. This has happened too many times to us throughout the year to just stroll on into that death bush. And now SK have got themselves advantage. They've moved in. They're getting the wards down. The Baron has spawned, but TPA They're always giving that little edge of threat. There is no tower in that mid lane, remember. They can wall straight onto the inhib, but it's a risky play if they go for it.
And SK now feeling very confident. If they once again control vision around this Baron and then wait for the picks. They have the Ahri, they have the Jarvan with both Flash and Cataclysm available. So picks are very easy for them to pull off. Vision is controlled. Now they play the slow game. Not that slow, actually.
Whoa!
Oh, Freddy going down to less than half HP. There's the Culling. They've managed to lock him up, but can they finish him off? They can't at this stage. And SK actually starting off the Baron, doing about half of the health bar. Haven't finished that one off, and TPA have not only done the damage to the big tank, they've managed to actually stop them doing the Baron. They're going straight on mid.
So this is a completely different phase for TPA. A decisive move when their backs are against the wall. Baron's going down with this level 18 Tristana. They force it. They engage on the Mundo, pull them off of Baron, and now they've run SK all over the map, shoving mid and switching over to Baron. Teleport though, they're trapped.
This is really risky. They've got to take that Baron down very fast there, and they are doing the damage to it. The TPA are going to get it. They've taken the Baron, and SK are just too slow to the party.
That's what decisive calls would do for you. Engage on the Mundo to draw them off of Baron, then shove mid to make them all recall to try and defend the inhibitor. What good objective selection from TPA. 1, 2, 3, they got the Baron, burned it down, even with the teleport from Freddy, able to pull it off in time.
It's just so hard to call this game because we've seen it swing back and forth already. We saw TPA in the lead. They end up losing out and must have had this deja vu, a horrible deja vu feeling from yesterday, but they get that Baron. They're still 5k gold behind, but we're 40 minutes into this matchup now, getting to the point where the gold is going to be less and less impactful. But what are TPA going to do with the Baron? This is where, yes, we've just seen that decisive play for the Baron. Now they've got to be even more decisive and show us what they can do with that big Baron advantage.
Well, the really big thing for them is that the middle inhibitor turret is already down from the last time they were able to rush it. Even though BB went down after that and they weren't able to finish off the inhibitor, they've got that open door.
Can see just TPA. They got the Baron. They want to make this play. Jesiz hanging off the side. I'm not sure that's the right move, and he's having the same thought himself as he comes around. This is going to be very hard for them to push into SK's face, though.
Keep your eyes on Kenny Panda. The Banshees is popped. Morning was able to land the stun there, but as we said, defensive item there for Candy Panda, able to block one. We'll see if the cooldown comes back up and they get a second.
Freddy standing at the door. That big bouncer that we've talked about already, trying to keep them out and away from that inhibitor. But you see TPA stepping forward, trying to get those stuns off. BB needs to be very careful how close he goes in, because Jesiz, if he gets the pick, will go in there, but they do manage to force SK back. The inhibitor goes over to the Taipei Assassins. Now they're going to have the super minions coming in, but if you look at top and bottom, it's already on SK's favor, so they need to just spread out those side lanes. They're trying to set up a trap, but they were on a ward.
Yeah, that's not going to work out for them. They're trying.
There is a giant minion wave down bottom for SK, so that at least they have pressure down there, but TPA turning their sights towards the top tower. They want to make use of the Baron while they still have it.
Trying to trap in the jungle. This time around, not going to work out. There is a big wave, as you said. That's going to be the top tower, the inner going down. The bottom may well get dealt with by those minions. SK do have that advantage, as you mentioned, but this wave, will it get cleared out quick enough? It's going to be taken. TPA get himself another tower. The stun on Jesiz isn't enough. The Culling doing the damage. He gets caught with the Rune Prison. And BB down by BB. Straight on towards him. Crescendo still not used. And nRated holding on to that one. But SK are down to 4 members.
This is dangerous for SK Gaming. Jesiz has got a 1-minute spawn time, and TPA knocking on the door on this top lane. Are they going to be able to work their way in? There is the next minion wave coming in. Watch for Morning, because he's been brilliant with his stuns so far. They managed to lock up Freddy for a while. There is a Crescendo. Morning actually using the Zonias. Monsoon from Jay. SK trying to push this one back. There's the damage to Candy Panda. Not enough though. They came off Morning. Gilius will fall. Achie is actually pretty low. Winter's forced back away. Double for Freddy before he goes down. That's 3 dead for SK, 2 dead for the Taipei Assassins. This time they've got the AD carry up with them. They're going to try and win the game.
The super minions coming in the mid lane. Wynn's taking a hell of a lot of beating now, but BB goes aggressive. nRated taking low. He gets dropped down. Candy Panda, the last man standing. Jez is up in 9 seconds time. They're going to try towards the Nexus turrets. One goes down. Can the second one? bebe goes in, annihilates him, and that's going to be the game for the Taipei Assassins here on the home ground. What a match!
And listen to that crowd roar there. Taipei Assassins did so well yesterday against Royal Club. You should argue that they probably should have won that game. This one was far from easy for them once again. They had that traditional TPA great early start. They also had then the traditional TPA ropey later stages, but they managed to hold on, making that decisive call which led to the Baron. And this time they make no mistake the later they went.
And man, do I like watching bebe on Lucian. He doesn't hesitate to dash in to finish off AD carries. He sees the high priority target low, and he uses the skill as its name, Relentless Pursuit. He's always following up on the damage, and that's what counted. He got the kill, and we're able to snowball that all the way into the base. I'm sure that Freak is going to have some words about that defensive item, third for Candy Panda as well. We'll see, because bebe did not go for one of those earlies, just making the Mikhails so that he could continue to go aggressive.
What a back and forth match that really was. In TPA leading in the beginning, SK clawing the way back into it after a great ace down at the Dragon. Actually wasn't quite the ace, was it? That he only got the Quadra there in towards it, gets the Baron straight off the back of it, gets a second Baron as well, but TPA, they answered so well, catching them in that Baron pit and then picking up a tactical, masterful Baron. They just forced them up the mid, led them on a merry dance and ran straight up and picked that Baron, and that really was where it all turned for them. They just pushed in towards the middle inhibitor, taking along the top turrets and completely running SK in a merry dance. That flash Rune Prison though, on towards Jesiz was incredible, because he'd already flashed, but the Rune Prison went down as it was going through, and that is what left them in a 4v5.
Yeah, it was great follow-up. They get